team. So today we are going to be talking about handling objections. And I'm going to start talking about handling objections with product. So first, you need to define the objection. Either they're uncertain of information, and so they feel like they cannot make a decision. It's a speed bump in their journey, or it's a lack of trust, and that's huge. Just during this video, I want you to think about what you felt when you were first thinking of getting Shakeology and starting your fitness journey. So you need to know their why. Most importantly, the base of everyone's journey is their why. So you want to hook with form, and then you want to make it about them. So once you've formed with them, you want to relate back to them. Relate to their story, why we use these products, relate to your story. So with what you can relate with them, you relate back to your story. So for an example, if I don't work out personally, so when someone says to me, why do you use these products, or why are you on your journey? I say, for me, if I don't work out, I feel like crap and I'm cranky. I use working out as a medicine for myself because I suffer from depression, and that is what has cured my depression. So when I don't work out, I start getting, upset, and it releases those endorphins for me that I need. So for me, also, I tell them that for Shakeology, I use it to get all my nutrients in the day, and I know that I'm getting it for my whole day, and it also gives me more energy. So relating back to your story and why you use those products with relating to why they would benefit from these products will help. So there's 7 R's that I want you all to focus on when handling these objections. The first R is rapport. Rapport means relationship, connection, and sympathetic connection. So this is basically like forming. It's establishing that close relationship with your client. The second R is relationships. This is your connection relating to their story, or why this is your story, or why you're on your journey, and relating back to their journey. The third R is recommendations. So once you have built the trust with them, after the first and second step, you can start to offer them recommendations of what product you think would work for them best. Because since you've formed with them, you've built that trust, and you've gained their sense of relationship with you, you can talk to them about what you think would be best for their needs and their goals. The fourth R is retail. Now this is when you talk about price, and I'm going to get into money objections a little bit later on in this video, but it's going to come up. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how to handle the money objections. I know we've kind of talked a little bit more about the Shakeology objections, money, and that stuff a few days ago, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on that. The 5th is recruit, the 6th is retain, and 7 is repeat. So retaining and recruiting will help in the long run as well, because if they're not ready, you can repeat again, you already know their form, etc., and you know their why. So you want to be interested versus interesting. So focus on the trust, and don't be an expert. We're not doctors, we're not experts at this. All we know is what we have gone through and why this has helped us. So really focus on that relationship first. This all comes back to the relationship. So with the objections, you'll get money, time, fitness level, spouse, sales, and pyramid scheme. Now, I want you guys to comment, and I want to know how many of you have gotten objections like that, and what objections you have gotten from that. I know it already says it in the assignments, but I really do want to know what objections you have gotten so far from being a coach. So 5 tips in the good versus the bad in handling objections are, first, you want to validate and overcome versus getting defensive and attacking. If they're not ready, they're not ready. I wasn't ready for a long time to drink Shakeology at first. I started out with working out, and then I got Shakeology 2 months later. They need to be ready, and you need to remember that you do not want to attack them and get defensive because it'll push them away. The second tip is the 5 steps and versus not having a plan. So go back to the assignment and the document that we gave you and look at those objection handlings. The third is posturing versus no confidence. Have confidence when you're talking to people, because if you don't, they're going to know and they're going to tell. Even if you don't know something, have confidence in it. You guys know so much more than you really think, and research if you don't know something, but don't come off as you not knowing about it. The fourth, using stories versus facts and convincing. If you've never done a product, use someone else's story. I use Lauren's all the time, and Alexa's, and other people's on our team, because sometimes I don't have the same story as anyone else. My story is completely different than everyone else's. So use other people's stories to really connect with someone who may not be able to connect with you as much, but you know you can connect them with someone else connect with them by someone else's story. And the fifth one is don't be the expert. Just don't. Also, don't assume their objections. You have no idea what their objections are, and you want to connect with them and relate to them and be able to understand what their objections are. Don't just assume that we have objections in our head that maybe are for us, but everyone's different. So just don't worry about their objections. If they suddenly become hesitant after really talking to you and asking about everything, ask them what's holding them back. Ask them, why are you holding back? What's holding you back? So now I'm going to talk a little bit about handling money and time objections. So they have not seen the value yet if they have the money objections. So like when I said we were talking about the Shakeology objections, they need to see the value. They need to see how many superfoods are in it. They need to see and know your story behind Shakeology and why you use it. And like I said, think about when you first became a client or a customer and you were hesitant about Shakeology. What did you research? What did you want to know before purchasing and starting to drink Shakeology? When they ask how much it costs, defer away from that question right off the bat. You don't want to start off by telling them. So what I would say is that depends on what you need. I want to know more about your fitness journey and why you want this to work. Are you serious about losing weight, being healthy and happy? So asking them questions to really, really get to their why will really help you with overcoming these money objections. So instead of also telling them that Shakeology costs $130 a month, that's scary, for a lot of people. Start by saying Shakeology is about $4 a serving per day for 30 days. Now, by saying that, it's going to be a lot better on their ears than $130 for a whole month, because they're not putting it in the day-by-day situation. So these are the things that I want you to do and take away from this video. I want you to practice everything that I wrote or that I've talked about. Okay? Whether you want to practice it on your husband, your friend, your dog, whatever. Practice. Do role play. It makes it so much easier. Manage your expectations and intentions. That's the second one. If your expectations are low for Shakeology, it's going to come off that way. And if your expectations are high, then it's going to come off so much better, and it's going to get you a lot farther. Be okay with failing for a word. No, not everyone will say yes right away. You're planting those seeds, and if, they will come back eventually. And usually when I've gone through all of these steps and they say no, I always say, I will be here for you whenever you're ready. Because that leaves an open door. They know that you're not mad that you said no. They know that they can still come to you and ask you for tips and ask you for advice for whatever reason they need. And that's the third one. The fourth is never convince it's all about relating in the relationship. We're not here to convince people that they need to drink Shakeology. They need to work out. No. Because you know what? It's not going to help them if we have to convince them they need to be ready. The fifth, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. So I hope that you all take away from this video, and I look forward to seeing your posts. Have a great day.